Hello, this is Python and Excel part 6. Today I'm not going to be looking at what Python in Excel does, how it interacts with the interface or anything like that. I'm going to be spending some time solving a problem. And the problem we've got to solve is from Wyn Hopkins of Access Analytic. And he posted this sometime last year. We've got a table of names, number of tickets, and range of tickets. So the tickets for Jeff will be from 1001 to 1010. The tickets for Eric will be 2,422 to 2,427, and so on. Now, back when this original challenge was posted, I wrote a Lambda solution for it, and you can see there's a lot of code. There's a lot of code on the right here because this stacker solution using Lambda is a generic solution that can be used for all kinds of different problems where you have to process a row one at a time, but the processing of that row creates multiple rows. So this is kind of a generic solution, and I've used it many, many times since it was created. But today I'm going to solve the problem with Python. So let's close that for now. Right here I've got some Python code that will do the same thing. Let's walk through it. First of all, define a function. We use the def keyword to define a function. We've called it create ticket list. It accepts a single argument called row. I've given a type to the argument, although that's really optional. It's a pandas series because each row is a pandas series. And I've given a type hint to the function which says that the function is going to return a list. This is totally optional, and it doesn't actually matter if the function doesn't return a list. This is called a type hint because it allows the people reading the code to get a quick understanding of what the function should return. So this function should return a list. First of all, let's look at this line here. Let's look at it from the inside out. We take the ticket range value from the row that's been passed into the function. So in the case of Jeff, that's this value here, 1001-1010. And we use the split function to split it on a dash. What that does is it creates two values, 1001 and 1010. But because it starts with a text value and because split is a string method, it actually creates those two values as strings, which is why we are using map to map the integer data type to the values that are produced by this split method. And that ends up with two values, two integers, the integer 1001 and 1010. And those are assigned at the same time into these two variables, start and end. So in a single line, we have split and created two new variables, 1001 and 1010 in the case of Jeff, in start and end. The next line returns the value from the function. We're starting with this range method on the inside. Now a range is kind of like the sequence function in Excel. It gives you a starting number and then you give it an ending number. But the range that we want is from 1001 to 1010. And the way range works is that it produces a list of numbers from the start number to the number before the second parameter. So in order to get the list 1001 to 1010, we actually have to pass 1001 here and 1011 here. So that's range. And then we want it to return a list, so we just wrap it in this list method. So that's the function create ticket list. That will process a single row from this table. Next, I've assigned the ticket number text to this t variable so that I don't have to keep typing ticket number here, here, and here. And if I want to change it, I can just change it in one place. That's generally a good idea. Next, we're creating a new column called ticket number in the data frame. And we're creating that column by using df.apply. And we are applying the create ticket list function along axis 1. And axis 1 is the row axis. And the result is that we are putting the list that is created by the create ticket list function into the ticket number column. Now, before I get to the really cool part, which is df.explode, let's have a look at what df looks like after we've created that new column. Control-Alt-Shift-M. So we've got a data frame which is the same size as the original table, but it's got this extra column, ticket number. Now it says calc, but don't be fooled. Calc is Excel's way of telling you that it's got a value in there that it can't display. Excel cannot display to you an array inside a cell. So these calcs actually contain a list. This cell actually contains the list from 1001 to 1010. This cell contains the list from 2999 to 3000. So let's go back to the code. Let's remove this extra line that we just added. 1, 2, 3, delete, backspace, backspace. And the last line, this is a really cool part. This is the part that we can't do very easily with Excel functions. A data frame has this method, this function, called explode. And we pass a column name into explode. And what we are saying is that for the lists that are in each of these rows, explode them, expand them into new rows. You may be familiar with doing that in Power Query. This does basically the same thing. It explodes this column into new rows, but the great thing is that it duplicates all of the values that are on the same row, which is also what Power Query does. So let's just remove this column indexing for now and see what df.explode looks like without the column indexing. It has been expanded. We've now got 10 rows for Jeff. But of course, we've got these columns that we don't really need in the output. Let's get back over here and put the column indexing here. Column indexing is just passing a list of column names into these square brackets after a data frame. So I want to return the name column and the T column, and T is ticket number, so name and ticket number. I want to return those column names from the data frame that is produced by df.explode. Jeff's got 10, Yuri has 5, Eric has 6. And that's how you do row exploding in Python. I hope you learned something. I hope it's been interesting. This is a really, really exciting time for Excel users. Have a great day and thank you for watching.